called my girlfriend. It was 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. She thought I was dying. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just met my husband. Should Matt come closer? Come closer
Should
to me.
I?
You love
Yeah,
me.
should I?
We're gonna talk about our love.
We
You're
are.
excited about that, right?
So excited.
I think you should come over more.
But then I'm getting off my cush.
Is that better?
Is that good for you? Is that good for you?
So
Am I
good.
close enough for you?
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to my channel, and Matt is here to play with us today.
Which camera are we looking at?
This one.
Okay,
Just
this
follow
one?
your instinct.
Not this one? This one.
This one. It's so hot in here. Marriage. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest. It's
Special guest.
Mateo Robinson, my
That's right.
husband. He was hesitant about coming on the show. What?
Is this a show?
No, it's just a video. Today we wanted to talk about specifically our very first date.
First time.
No, just the first date. So a lot of people end up asking us how we met. I think that's like one of the most common questions we get about our relationship. Matt and I were set up on a blind date.
On a blind date. You probably know this. I'm from Texas. Erin's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
So we met in Los Angeles and we were set up by a good friend of mine, her mom. So a girl I went to law school with, I think I was hosting her birthday party and her mom was there, Janet. Shout out to Janet, by the way. And I was chatting Janet up and she said, Matt, are you single? And
He was worried that she might ask him out.
I was like, okay, well, who wants to know? Like, what is this about? And she said, no, I have this girl I know. She is the current Miss Malibu, and I would like to set you guys up. So the pitch was, would you like to go on a date with Miss Malibu? So that was the proposition the
Yeah.
first time. So yes, I'll take one for the team. I will go out on a date with Miss Malibu, yes.
Take one for the team, like I'm some sort of charity case.
It's a joke, baby.
Oh, okay, you're supposed to look in that camera when you
Oh,
make
for the jokes or this camera? So that's what it was. And then she proceeded to go and pitch me to Erin, right?
She did. She came up to me. I was doing a fundraiser to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Malibu. And she was like, hey, are you single? Now, to back up a little bit, I actually was barely single. I had been in 2 back-to-back relationships, pretty long-term, both pretty toxic. They were toxic to me in them, and I was toxic to them in it. I had just gotten really, literally broken up with my boyfriend at the time. I was like, look, I don't have time for a man right now. But she kept pushing me, and she was like, but he's from Texas, he's Southern. And I was like, okay, that's kind of nice, I'm Southern. She's like, he's in law school. I was like, nah, that's boring. Like, I don't have time for boring
Attorneys,
people.
who likes those people? Ugh.
And also, he's 4 years younger than me.
I
And
am.
I
I'm
was
younger.
like,
Cradle robbing.
I was a grown-ass woman, and I was like, I don't have time to raise a boy, to become a man, to be someone, to be in a relationship with me.
But she's got a little cougar in her, right?
What? No!
You came back around.
I mean, I did, but that's not because I'm a cougar. It just worked out that way. So
I was in school with student debt. I mean, not
it's not attractive.
the most attractive
$200,000
situation.
of debt. Would you like to marry into that? The answer is
$200,000,
no.
yeah.
It's a big no. But I was like, you know what? It's cute. He's a cute little boy. I'll let him take me out
Cute little boy. That's
to
good.
dinner.
That's good.
And we jumped on a phone call first just to screen each other to make sure we actually
no
liked
serial
each other.
killers. Like, it's all kosher.
Yeah, and we talked for 2 hours without ever
2-hour
meeting.
phone call.
And we kind of liked each other, and then we set a date to meet, and it was one of the scariest dates of my life.
So it was like, if I remember though, it was like 2 weeks between the phone call and the actual date.
Yeah.
She would not stop texting me. And I felt like...
Oh, really? I was the only one
so
texting. You weren't
many text
texting back?
messages
That's not true.
Back and forth. So I felt like I actually knew her really well before the first date.
There was a text that he sent me, and he said, can we please stop texting each other? I want to know more about you in person.
I was like, we're gonna have no questions to ask on the first date. We had so many texts back and forth.
You underestimate how interesting I am.
By the way, plug 50 Weird Facts. She has a lot. She's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
There's a video on my channel called 50 Weird Facts. Go check it out. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're here. I need all the help I can get because, Mama, I need you, is what I'm trying to say. so we set up our first date, and it wasn't the most romantic first date ever.
It was all Americana. It was dinner and a movie at the Grove.
At Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory, as all American as you can get.
Now, I love Cheesecake Factory, don't get me wrong.
I mean, so many options. What's not to love?
But when we tell our story about our first date, I'm like, we went to Cheesecake Factory, and we went to a movie.
And it was not a great movie.
It was a bad movie. It was Horrible Bosses.
Horrible Bosses.
So,
I mean, not off to a great start, you would think, but how long? We were there for a long time.
yeah, so we ate dinner for like 6 hours and couldn't stop talking.
I think the whole date was probably 8 hours long.
Yeah.
So it was, I'd say, like the easiest conversation ever. It was the easiest date I had ever been on in my life. And I still remember what you were wearing.
You do. You're sweating.
I know.
I'm going to help you.
I run hot.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You were wearing a maxi dress. I recall it had stripes. It was like white, gray stripes.
It was all white.
You don't remember it the same way.
I wanted to put the image of your future bride into your head.
So there
See,
was,
I
there
went
was
from
strategy.
like, I'm not going to go on a date with him to, I want him to think of me as his wife the second he sees me.
Wait, so there was strategy in that choice.
It might have been. I don't remember. Yeah, there was.
How did you think that you really liked me before the first date?
I did. After all those text messages, I was like, if he's anything like his text messages, this is the most romantic man of all time. And it turned out to be true. I saw him he was in a button-down shirt similar to this, white with like stripes in it. And he was so tall, and he gave a really good hug.
I'm still really tall.
He hasn't grown anymore, thank God, but he was very tall. And he gave me a big hug, and it was like one of those hugs where you're like, oh, I could be here forever. And it was the very first hug. I sound psychotic. I literally have gone from, ew, never, to like, I want to marry him right this second.
Just the pendulum swings that quickly.
And we went to this movie, and I paid for my own ticket. We split the bill. I wouldn't let him pay because I was like, I'm a millennial, edgy woman. I can pay for myself.
Yeah. She refused to let me pay for her dinner or her movie, which is an interesting note because I think like people want to know like who should pay, like what's that situation about? What do you think about that?
I think the guy should pay. I think you should have insisted more.
I should have insisted more. Clearly it didn't work out well. I do think you should offer to pay. Guys should offer to pay. But I thought it was interesting that you were so insistent on paying or splitting. So to me, it was a sign of someone who, okay, she works hard, and she does. She's a super hard worker. And someone who's independent and not looking to take advantage of any kind of situation. Like she can stand on her own feet, she's strong, she's driven. All of these things were like, okay, I'm into this. For me, I was interested in someone who was a dreamer, someone who was really ultra driven and inspiring, and someone who would kind of support my dreams, but also I could dream with for her. So all those boxes were kind of getting ticked in that first date.
The first date went really well. During the movie, Matt put his hand
on
my leg.
She loves to talk about it.
You
show
both
me.
sitting
How,
like
how,
this.
how was it? How
we're
was it?
kind of leaning in, and this hand suddenly finds its way. Don't hold it. You know how you did it. Don't pretend like you don't know. That is not how it happened. This hand just slowly. That is not how it happened. It slowly like made its way here, and I was like, oh, okay, well then I'll put my hand here. And then at some point I was like, I need to like switch this up because it got kind of boring. So I was like, I'll like move my hand up here.
Here it comes.
And Matt proceeded to flex the entire movie.
The entire movie.
I mean, I was like, he's gonna get so tired. Like, surely he's gonna give it up. But he was, at that time, he'd been working out 2 hours a day.
Rock solid. Solid.
No, it's only because you were flexing. And then I was like, this guy is really concerned that I'm going to judge his bicep. But I didn't move my hand from here because I just wanted to see how long he would do it.
Instead, we have a story that I've not been, she has not let me forget this story for the rest of our lives.
But he's not flexing.
So that's what I have. Yes. I think I was maybe trying to impress.
He was trying to.
Which is a good sign,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then I remember we walked out, and I think we were holding hands, or I was holding your arm out to the theater, and it was like midnight at this point. He walked me to my car in the garage, and there was no one in the garage. And I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to kiss me? He seems too much of a gentleman to kiss me. But he leans in and he goes for it in a major way.
What does that mean?
You,
in a
like,
major way?
Dove in like Flipper in the deep. Like you were just like,
excuse me.
You were like into it, and then it wasn't a short; it was a long one.
Well,
like I
well,
was
so
like,
this
is this
isn't-
ever gonna end? Not in a bad way, but like I need to call my girlfriend and let her know how the date's going. But the kiss just kept going. It was great though.
Well, so I think it's really important though. You need to make your intentions known.
Yeah. Okay, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So I think it's a big deal. Like you should kiss on the first date because you need to know.
Really?
Yeah.
I've kissed so many people in my life. Sorry, babe. Kissing is not a big deal to me, but.
But again, it's like you want to make your intentions known. You want to say, this is what I'm here for. Like I'm not
in it.
I'm not here to just like play around. I'm not here to just like go on a bunch of dates. Like there's an end goal. Like there's a purpose, right?
Yeah. And then he was like, text me when you get home. I want to make sure you got home okay. So that was really sweet. So I got in my car, called my girlfriend.
How do you remember all these details?
I don't know, because it was such a hot, monumental moment in my life. I mean, I met my husband. Like, you just don't forget those times. So I called my girlfriend. It was 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. She thought I was dying. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just met my husband. And she's like, Erin, you are a serial relationship girl. I've dated someone for 7 years, for 4 years, for 3 years. She's like, that's just what you do. You need to take some time to be alone. And I was like, I don't think you understand though. I really think I met my husband. And she's like, call me tomorrow when I'm awake and we can discuss.
But tell me about, there's a list too, right?
Like I said, Matt and I started dating right after I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. And I was so upset with him and our situation that I decided I needed to make a list of all the things that I wanted and all the things that I didn't want in a partner. Because I've been choosing these guys who were projects. They were like awesome people, but they just really, I was giving more of me than I feel like they were giving of themselves in the relationship. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. What do I really want? And my list, I still have it today. It includes things like has to be able to change a tire, to like sports. I don't like sports, but I just wanted him to, so we'd have some sort of balance. Had a good relationship with his mom.
Yeah. Why is that important?
I just think that a guy who has a good relationship with his mom respects women and understands the things that women go through, which I feel like you do. And I wanted someone who was a Christian. I grew up Christian. It was really important to me. Actually, on our first date, Matt asked me to bless the food, if we could bless the food. And I was like, where am I? Is this real? Because I just never experienced that in Los Angeles. But I made this list, and after I started dating Matt, I'd forgotten about it, and I went back and found it, and everything on my list was Matt. The pros and the cons. Can't be a smoker. I dated a smoker, not into it. Can't be someone who has addiction issues, not because those people aren't awesome people, but I had addiction in my family, and I was like, I really don't want to be with someone who has addiction in their family too.
Right.
So there was a whole long list, and that was everything. So I do think there's something to be said about putting something down on paper in your life and seeing it happen.
And like speaking it and believing it, like putting it out there, right?
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting is there are even some like subjective, like those are somewhat obvious, but I think you even said like plays basketball. Like there are like some specific,
basketball, yeah.
They're like really subjective, like not like,
They're very specific.
Like, you know, he's not abusive. It wasn't like obvious things. It was like there was some subjective things in every single thing, right?
Yeah, Matt's like tooting his own horn over here.
No, but
He's
it was like
tell him again how perfect I was on the list.
I was
Remember the
no.
list? Keep going. So Matt has a list. Let's get back to Matt's list.
So my list was very long. So many qualifications.
He wrote it when he was like 7 years old and what he wanted in a wife.
That's right. I put a lot of thought into it. I have standards.
I found it digging through his childhood closet, actually, and it
Yeah.
said, my wife, and you want to tell him what was on it?
I forget what was on it. What was on it?
Cooks good.
Oh, yeah.
Cooks good.
I mean, yeah.
And I think you said Christian. I think it was spelled wrong.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And I think the last one was the biggest letters on the page.
Oh, this is the most important one.
And it was
What was it?
hot with 2 T's.
You see, there's one T and then there's 2 T's.
We went to Matt's cousin's wedding, and it was really beautiful. And his aunt
It's
said,
a contrast.
his aunt said,
There's-
oh my gosh, my son, he wrote a list of everything he wanted in a wife, a good, modest, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at Matt, and I was like, not hot with 2 T's.
No. So my cousin Luke, he has apparently from his childhood, his burning desire was a wife
Who's modest?
Who's modest. A modest wife.
That's okay too.
And that's great. Apparently, when I was a kid, I wanted a wife who was hot with 2 T's.
Did you get a wife who was hot with 2 T's for you?
I think I got a wife who's hot with 2 T's.
We're rolling, so that's why he said that. So anyway, our first date was really awesome. I really think there's purpose in it. And I know it's really hard to meet people these days, but I think when you meet someone, you do really know if they're the right person for you. And if you meet someone and it's really hard and the relationship's really hard, that may be a sign that it's not the right person for you. So keep looking, because I do think your person is out there.
I think that like there's something to be said about getting through, and it wasn't perfect. Like it wasn't like always, you know, we definitely had some disagreements, all that kind of stuff. But the dating period and like just the way that we worked together, it was just the easiest thing ever. It was like, again, like it was an 8-hour first date. It was a 2-hour phone call, and it wasn't like we were forcing anything. It was really easy, and
here we are. We're married.
Here we are. And it was all purposeful. Like we met the summer after my first year of law school, and so the timing couldn't have been better either.
Perfect. So this is a wrap up to this video, but we're doing a ton of videos in this little Our Love Story series. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
That's right.
Let us know in the comments if there are any other video ideas that you want us to do together. This is just the beginning of a lot of content to be made.
A lot of things coming, like...
Bleep that out,
Lots
editor.
of new stuff.
Lots of new stuff coming, so you have to subscribe to find out.
Major life changes coming, so.
All right, that's it for this one. We will see you in the next video. So if you want more videos, you have to click right over here. Matt, you can help me.
Right, okay, so right.
Somewhere in that vicinity, there's a new video that you probably haven't seen. Also click right here to subscribe to the channel and support Matt and I on this YouTube journey.
Yeah, more to come. Lots of new things coming. Lots of new things.
Killing it, honey. You nailed it.
Oh, yeah.